Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to take a moment and declare 2020 the year of the hustler. Okay, if you're a hustler, 2020 was probably a very good year for you. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, haven't seen my prior videos, my background is in accounting. Before I got into all the fun stuff that you see me doing in the videos, I did accounting full time. My last position was that of a chief financial officer for an import-export company. So I have a pretty good understanding of business. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what it takes to succeed in business. There's four things that you need. Okay, you need skills and knowledge, right? And I say skills / knowledge because if you're a machinist or somebody that works with their hands, it's skills. If you're a lawyer or a computer guy, or now we're talking knowledge. Okay, but you can kind of lump that together. It's skills / knowledge. Okay, so you need skills and knowledge. You need capital. Okay, you need startup money. Okay, so you need some capital. You need to be able to take some risks. Okay, fortune favors the bold. Okay, and you got to be willing to put some hard work into it. So what I want to talk about in this video is the balance between these four items. Because the way it works is if you have lots of skill and knowledge, right? If you're a highly skilled guy, or if you're extremely smart, right? If you're a genius, right? And basically this is a scale on the side. If you have a lot of skills and knowledge, then you can have have very little capital, take very little risks, and put very little hard work into whatever you're doing, and you can be successful, just based on your skills and knowledge. Okay. Likewise, erase that. So let's say you're starting off with a lot of capital. Okay. If you inherit $500 million, okay, you can be almost an idiot. Okay. Take very little risks. Okay. And hardly ever work. Okay. And just because you're starting off with a lot of capital, you can still be very successful. Okay. So let's switch this up now. Likewise, risks. Okay. If you're a mercenary, right? If you take lots of risks, okay, then perhaps you can, not be so knowledgeable, not have that much capital, not do that much hard work, right? Maybe you might be only doing really highly risky stuff, a couple of times a year or once a year. So if you're willing to take a lot of risks, okay, that's another formula to succeed. Okay. And the same thing goes, I say, with hard work. If you're somebody that's willing to do a lot of hard work, okay, but is short in the other areas, you can make up for your shortcomings up here with a lot of hard work. Okay. Now, in general, you do need some level of these other things. So, for example, if you're willing to do a lot of hard work, right? I don't care how hard you work at McDonald's, okay? That's only going to get you so far, right? Because hard work by itself is not enough. Now, if you're willing to do a lot of hard work, along the way you can start developing some of these other things, right? You can start developing some skills, right? So if let's say all you do is clean bathrooms at McDonald's, well, you can also learn to cook or something, right? So you can start developing your skills. You can start saving up some money to build up some capital, right? You can start taking a few extra risks, right? You can start interviewing at other companies, So if you're really heavy in one area, you can still develop the other things, okay? Likewise, if you're somebody that does a lot of risk, takes a lot of risks, okay? Right? If all you do is take risks, okay? Chances are eventually those risks are going to start turning against you. Okay, so even if you have some initial success, just taking risks, you have to start developing some of these other skills, because eventually the odds are going to turn against you, and that risk is going to either get you killed or put you out of business, or whatever type of business that you're in. Okay, so just because you start off heavy in one area doesn't mean along the way you can't start. You can't build up the other areas, okay? So let me erase this. And let's talk now a little bit about 2020, okay? And why I'm calling it the year of the hustler. In 2020, we had the lockdowns. We had a lot of people getting stimulus checks. You had a lot of people that were collecting unemployment, okay? And I know from my interaction with people in the business world that a lot of people were quite happy just to take those unemployment checks and that's it, and just live off of that. And basically they were on whatever, like, 6 months vacation. Okay, so what that did is it took a lot of people out of the market, work-wise. So if you're a contractor, right, let's say you're a roofer, right, and all the other roofers are basically collecting those unemployment checks. Well, if you're willing to work, okay, so let's say you have a job that you typically charge $5,000 for. Well, what I found is that the guys that were working are not charging $10,000 for that same job, and basically that's just a matter of supply and demand. There aren't enough people out there doing the work because they're all getting unemployment. Okay, so if you're willing to take some risk, right, work through the pandemic, right, and do that extra work. Okay, maybe your skills are mediocre, and maybe you didn't have a whole bunch of money going into this, right? But 2020 gave you the opportunity to take a little extra risk and work when other people were not willing to work to basically move you ahead. So what happens is this rolls over into the next year, into 2021, right? So if you were willing to take the risks and do the hard work in 2020 and do the work that other people were not willing to do, going into 2021, what you've done is you've increased your capital, because all that money that you made in 2020 now is going to roll over into 2021, and now perhaps you can do either maybe do a little bit less work, okay, or perhaps maybe you can do the same amount of work and maybe take some less risks, okay, or maybe you can use 2021 to develop your skills a little bit more and your knowledge and whatever you do. Okay, so 2020 was a year of opportunity. If you were looking for an opportunity, okay, it was there. It was staring everybody in the face. Okay, people were not working. Okay, businesses were shut down. Okay, if you were willing to fill that void, okay, 2020 was the best year of your life. Okay. And I've, like I said, as an accountant, I've spoken to a lot of people in a lot of different businesses. Barbers, the ones that were willing to work out of their home made a killing. Okay, the mechanics, they did really good because a lot of the dealerships were shut down, so the small mechanics were doing very good. And this just goes across the board. People in the fitness industry, right? A lot of the gyms were shut down, but then a lot of the gym owners were basically sneaking people in and doing the private training sessions, and that's where all the money is, right? It's in the private training sessions, where you can charge $100 an hour, for a private training session. Normally, let's say you're charging $25, but hey, now we got a pandemic going on. Hey, we got to double or triple the prices. So the trainers did very good. So 2020 was a good year if you were looking for the opportunity, if you were willing to take a little bit more risk than everybody else. Okay, and as far as not only are you taking a risk, it's a risk relative to everybody else, because you're always measuring yourself. Life is such that you have to measure yourself against other people. So if people are taking very little risk, then hey, you just got to take a little bit more risk than them. Okay, people are taking a lot of risk, right? If you're in that type of a market, well, now now it's like, okay, wait, now I got to take a whole lot of risk. But 2020 was a year where that people were just sitting home collecting those unemployment checks. And as far as what kind of risk were you taking, hey, I mean, this, if you do the numbers, right, they say it's 250,000 people have died. Okay, and if you divide that by the population, it comes out to a 0.06% death rate. Okay, so 0.06% death rate. Most people's driving is more dangerous than that. Okay, now of that 250,000 people that they say died, hey, I mean, I want to see what the total death numbers are from all sources, because I have a very strong feeling that they have shifted the deaths from other from other situations to COVID. So, for example, there's no more pneumonia deaths, there's no more heart attacks. So a lot of these people that would have died from other things, now all of a sudden they're calling everything COVID. So in next year or the year after that, whenever the numbers come out, I would like to see the total number of deaths from all sources, right? Just looking at death certificates, regardless of what the source of death is. And the reason why that's important is because when you're looking at death certificates, you know, I mean, you can lie about the cause of death, but you can't so easily fabricate a death certificate. So I want to compare the total number of death certificates in 2020 to 2019 and 2018 and prior years. And that's going to tell us what the actual risk was. And I have a feeling that the risk was 0. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.